Welcome back. We move on to the next 20 questions of the chapter Units and Measurements. Question 21. Arrange the following prefixes in descending order: peta, atto, exa, femto. So peta is the prefix that's used for the power 10 to the power of 15. Atto is 10 to the power of minus 18. Exa is 10 to the power of positive 18. And femto is 10 to the power of minus 15. Hence, the correct answer is exa followed by peta followed by femto followed by atto, which gives us choice number D. Not satisfied, he takes 50 more readings. What happens to the probable error? A increases by 50 times, B decreases by half, C decreases by 1/4, D increases by 2 times. So when a certain number of readings are taken, the answer is the mean of all the readings. So when we take 50 more such readings, that is, we take the exact number of readings that we have just taken. So the total number of readings in this particular case is now 100, which means the probable error should reduce by half, because we have taken an equal number of readings in addition to the first set of readings. So obviously the answer is the probable error should reduce by half. Question 23. Two physical quantities m and n do not have the same dimensions. Which of the following is valid? M plus n, m minus n, m star n, m equals n. So the concept here to recall is that you can perform addition, subtraction, or even equivalence only when the dimensions of two quantities are the same. So length can be added to another quantity whose dimensions is also length. Speed can be added to velocity, but you can't add speed to acceleration. But you can definitely multiply speed and acceleration to give a different quantity. So the only valid operation here is m star n for multiplication. Question 24. If the unit of a physical quantity is doubled, then the physical quantity is doubled, reduced by a quarter, halved, stays the same. So one way to look at this problem is to consider a mass of 1 kg. Let's say you have a box, the contents of which weigh exactly 1 kg. Now what the question says is the unit of that physical quantity gets doubled. So let's say the kg gets doubled, and kg, once it gets doubled, we refer to it by a different name. Let's call it alpha. So alpha actually is 2 kgs. It's equal to 2 times a kg. Then effectively what happens to the content of your original box? The content of your original box is the original 1 kg, or it is half alpha, right? So basically what we are trying to say is your content of your box was in the original case it was 1 kg, but now kg has doubled, which means 2 kgs are now called with a new name called alpha, which means now your original box as per the new unit will be half alpha, which means the physical quantity gets halved when the unit of the physical quantity gets doubled. Question 25. Identify the odd one out. Joule, electron volt, calorie, horsepower. So this looks like a tricky question, but actually it's pretty straightforward if you know the different terms that are given as the options. So joule is a unit of energy. Calorie again is a unit of energy in a non-SI system. That leaves us with electron volt and horsepower. So here, suppose you do not know or you are not heard of electron volt or horsepower, one way is to eliminate the obvious choice. Say horsepower. The moment you see the word power, you should know that the SI unit of power is watts. So obviously there's a high chance that horsepower is the odd man out because it's the unit of power, whereas joule and calorie are units of energy, and there's a high degree of chance or probability that electron volt is also a unit of energy. Suppose you know it very well, then you should be clear that electron volt is actually the unit of energy when we deal with energies at the subatomic level or quantum physics. So electron volt is the unit that's commonly used for the extremely low quantities of energy that we deal with at the subatomic level. So the first three options are units of energy, whereas the last one is the unit for power and hence is the odd man out. Question 26. Parsec stands for parallactic second, paraxial sequence, parallactic sequence, partial second. So even if you're not heard of these terms, you can start eliminating the obvious ones. Option D seems very unlikely. So partial second doesn't make sense, because you should remember parsec is a unit to measure extremely large distances which we encounter in the universe. So light year is another unit, astronomical unit is a third unit, and parsec is the largest of them all. So parsec, if you go back to the definition, it is the distance from Earth to any object that subtends an angle of 1 arc second when the Earth is at opposite points in its orbit around the Sun. So the method here that underlies calculating the distance that we call as parsec is that of parallax method. So obviously it has to do something with the concept of parallax. So choice A and choice C seem to be more obvious. Now if you just look at choice A carefully, parsec, the word, is a shortened form of the first three letters of parallactic and the second three letters of second. So it's parallactic second. So obviously option A is the right choice. Question 27. Rounding off 2.345 to 3 significant digits gives 2.35, 2.345, 2.34, 2.45. So the initial number given to us is 2.345 and we are required to round it off to 3 significant digits. So obviously choice B can be straight away eliminated. That leaves you with two choices: 2.35, 2.34 and 2.45. Right? Now we need to round off the last digit here, which is 5. So whenever you have 5 or a digit greater than 5, you round off the next digit which appears to the left of the digit 5. But here you need to go and pay attention to a small rule that says whenever the digit to be rounded off is exactly 5, it's not greater than 5, then you round off the digit to the left if it is odd, else you retain it as it is if it is even. So in this case, if we retain it, since the digit is 4 and it's even, we will not round it off, we will retain it as it is. So that leaves us with the answer as 2.34, which is option number C. Question 28. Arrange 1 light year, 1 astronomical unit and 1 parsec in descending order. For that, you will recall that 1 parsec is approximately equal to about 3.26 light years, and 1 light year is approximately equal to about 63,241 astronomical units. So that makes a light year much bigger than an astronomical unit, and a parsec slightly bigger than a light year. Hence the choice is D. Parsec is bigger than a light year, is bigger than an astronomical unit. Question 29. Homi Jahangir Bhabha is known for his work on Baba rays, X-rays, cosmic rays, gamma rays. So H.J. Bhabha, also known as the father of the atomic age in India, was predominantly working on cosmic rays. These are rays that bombard the earth continuously from space, and his life was dedicated to the study of these cosmic rays. So the answer is option C. Question 30. In an experiment, the following observations were recorded, and you are required to use a formula that has been given and find the maximum permissible error in Y. So obviously, if you look at the 4 choices, you will see that they are all in percentage terms. So we'll have to deal with relative errors and the way relative errors are propagated. So obviously the relative error for Y will be delta Y by Y, which is equal to delta M by M plus delta G by G plus delta capital L by L plus, we come to the denominator, I ignore pi, 2 into delta D by D, because D square, the power is multiplied with the relative error, and finally small l, that is delta small l by L. So here the other concept you will also have to recall is the valid number of decimal digits. So when I calculate delta M by M, I will be putting the denominator as 400 because both the decimal places are significant, and I multiply the denominator by 100, so it becomes 4 into 100, 400, plus 9.81, again I multiply the denominator by 100, so it becomes 981, plus capital L is 3.230. Here I ignore the I have to multiply it with 1000, so I get 323. I ignore the last zero, so it's sufficient if I multiply it with 100, not 1000. Then I come to capital D. So there D value is given as 0.021 centimeters, so I have to multiply it with 1000, so I get the denominator as 21, plus the final value, which is 1 by small l, which is 0.065. Again I multiply the denominator by 1000, so I get 65. So when you calculate this, you will get a value of 0.1172. When you multiply that value with 100, because you have to convert it into percentage error, you get a value which is option A, which is 11.72%. Question 31. 0.59 minus 0.589 can be written as. So here let's first calculate what's the value we get when we subtract these two quantities. So 0.59 and 0.589. So when I subtract these two, I get a value of 0.0001. Now if you go back and look at the question, there are two figures given. One is 0.59, the other is 0.589. And the rule states that when we add or subtract two figures, the answer should retain as many decimal places as the figure with the least number of decimal places. So that means we have to retain only 2 decimal places in the final answer. So though the answer is 0.001, I will not be able to choose A as the right answer, because I have to retain only 2 decimal places. So I have to rewrite this in standard form as 0.01 into 10 to the power of minus 1, which is the right answer. Question 32. Given pressure P equals $ minus T square whole divided by hash L, what is the dimension of $ by hash? So to find out the answer for this, you need to somehow get the term $ by hash by rearranging the equation that is given to you. So the equation that is given to you is P equals $ minus T square by hash L. So I rearrange this equation by taking L to the left hand side to get PL equals $ by hash minus T square by hash. Now you can recall that the dimension of PL on the left hand side should be individually equal to the dimension of $ by hash and individually equal to the dimension of T square by hash. So let's find the dimension of PL, which will be our required answer, which will be equal to the dimension of $ by hash. So P is pressure. Pressure is nothing but force by area. So it is force by area into length. So force has a dimension of, if you recall, force is mass into acceleration. So it's m L T to the power minus 2 into length, which is L, divided by area, which is L square. So you'll see that the L terms cancel out in the numerator and denominator. What you are left with is m t to the power minus 2, which makes the answer option C, which is m to the power 1, L to the power 0, t to the power minus 2. Question 33. Size of the universe is estimated to be around 10 power 15 light years, 10 power 26 light years, 10 power 16 light years, or 10 power 20 light years. So one fact that we need to be aware here is that in terms of meters, the size of the universe, the diameter of the known universe, is about 10 to the power of 26 meters. And 1 light year is roughly equal to about 94608,000 meters. To find out this number, you have to multiply 3 lakh kilometers per second, which is the speed of light, into 3600 seconds in an hour, multiplied by 24, which is the number of hours in a day, multiplied by 365, which is the number of days in a year, and this has to be converted to meters. So this I can approximate it to about 10 to the power of 10 meters. Now when I divide the two figures, the first figure of 10 power 26 divided by 10 to the power of 10, I'll get an answer which is option number C, which is 10 to the power of 16 light years. Question 34. Which of the following quantities has dimension? So there are given 4 options: refractive index, relative density, relative permeability, and relative velocity. Let's go one by one. Refractive index. It is the speed of light in a denser medium over the speed of light in another medium, which might be denser or less dense. So when you do this ratio, you are basically cancelling out the units of speed of light, so it's dimensionless. Relative density, you compare the density of any material basically with respect to water. So again, the units of density cancel out each other. Relative permeability, here again the units of permeability cancel out each other. But when it comes to relative velocity, when I say my relative velocity with respect to the train is 10 meters per second, I am not actually cancelling out my units of velocity. Rather, in comparison to the train running at 50 kilometers per hour or 50 meters per second, I am running at a speed of 60 meters per second on some other vehicle. Then my relative velocity with respect to train is plus 10 meters per second. So relative velocity is not actually a ratio, rather it is a relative difference between velocities of two objects in comparison. So relative velocity actually retains its dimension. So the answer is option D. Question 35. Mole can be expressed in SI units as a derived unit consisting of mass and length, mass, length and time, none of these. So it's actually a pretty straightforward question if you realize that mole is actually a fundamental unit. It cannot be derived from any other fundamental unit because it itself is a fundamental units. So it can't be expressed in terms of mass, length or time. So the answer is option D, none of these. Question 36. The value of 305 meters plus 800 millimeters is, there are 4 options. So now when you do the addition, I can convert the millimeters into meters. So it becomes 0.8 meters. So obviously my final answer will be 305.8. But now we'll have to bring into question the number of significant digits to be retained in terms of addition. So both the numbers in the question consist of 3 significant digits. So my answer should retain exactly 3 significant digits. So the answer I get by adding these two is 305.8. Now since I have to retain only 3 significant digits, I have to round it off, and when I round off the decimal place, I have to add 1 to the units place, and hence the number becomes 306, which is option number C. Question 37. The dimensional formula for impulse defined as force into time is. So impulse is defined as force into time. So calculating the dimensions of force, we get it as m L t to the power of minus 2 into the dimension of time, which is t. So the final answer you get is m to the power 1, L to the power 1, t to the power 1, which is option B. Question 38. Einstein won the Nobel Prize in Physics for his work on special theory of relativity, general theory of relativity, photoelectric effect, black holes. So the obvious choice to rule out is black holes, because Einstein did not work specifically on black holes. But the first 3 are definitely areas he worked on. And while general theory of relativity and special theory of relativity are his most significant contributions to physics, he actually received the Nobel Prize for his work on photoelectric effect. So it's option C. Question 39. Which of the following is a unit of surface tension which is defined as force over length? So if you quickly take the unit of force, it is newtons. Force is newtons divided by length, which is meters. But you can see that this particular answer is not listed as an option. So you will have to do some juggling of the units. So one thing that you can do is try going option by option. So obviously option A is not the answer. Go to option B. It has meter square in the denominator. So possibly you can multiply a meter for both the numerator and the denominator. So what you will get is Newton meter in the numerator and meter square in the denominator. Now Newton meter is basically force into displacement. Force into displacement is nothing but work done. Force into displacement is work done, and work is a form of energy, which means now I can say Newton meter, I can represent it as joules by meter square. So obviously the answer must be option B. Question 40. 2.77 plus 0.0077 equals. Now again this is a question that throws light on the number of significant digits to be retained in the final answer, which is the sum. So obviously we'll have to retain only those many significant digits as the number with the least number of significant digits, which is the first number, which is 2.77, which has 3 significant digits. So when you add these two numbers, you will get the answer as 2.7777. So obviously you will have to round it off to 2 decimal places and 3 significant digits. So obviously you will get the answer as 2.78, which is option number A. So this completes the set of 20 questions for this week. Hope you are revising these questions on a regular basis. What I would urge you to do is to keep looking out for similar such questions and trying them out with a time limit set. All the best.